In the tunnel.
In the tunnel.
In the tunnel. You're listening to In the Tunnel.
Hello and welcome to In the Tunnel, episode number 31.
30-1.
It's 31.
It's not 31. I will stand on this hill for as long as I can. Mostly because it's a Sunday morning and I really don't feel like standing on this hill longer.
Alright.
How are you doing, Shaan?
I'm okay. It's a little early, but hey.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, let's just go straight into it, shall we?
Yeah. It's
so
Super Bowl Sunday and we're not going to talk about it because we've already touched on the Super Bowl twice in prior episodes, and I mean, just let things play out on that front.
Yep.
I mean, look, we've done enough NFL to, like, we can go back and look at the numbers and get back to the awards and stuff that were announced last night at a different to do that right now. Mahomes won MVP and a new Hall of Fame class, and we'll get into that later. In a different show.
But all that talk could be done after the Super Bowl because
exactly.
Let's be honest.
Change.
Also, the way that ESPN did it was not I don't feel like it was right in a sense. Like you already knew who won everything before they even had the show.
Yeah, kind of.
So it was just like, what the heck? Okay. Anyway, so yeah, we'll talk about all that stuff after the Super Bowl. So we're going to focus on NBA today, as you can see on my screen. And let's just pop straight into it.
Yep.
So this is something you want to talk about, tampering with...
Yeah, so maybe not the number one thing I want to talk about, but the number one thing that the New Orleans Pelicans want to make sure about. And that's that in today's NBA, I think you can always see the trend that guys now in this super team era are very set on they have their buddies on different teams, and there's no way that they aren't talking about teaming up years beforehand. But it's like, I mean, if you guys are buddies in the off season or stuff like that, you can't exactly stop it. But when you have a presence like LeBron James, who the public eye considers he runs the general management of whatever team he's on, this kind of becomes the factor of is the sources say a month ago when Pelicans were in LA, it was Anthony Davis and LeBron James had dinner together. Is the Lakers clearly trying to put together a championship contender. And now with Anthony Davis saying that every place that he gets traded to, except for the Lakers, he sees as a 1-year rental option, and then he's going to go somewhere else. It all kind of reeks of this is tampering. He's picking and choosing where he wants to be, and that's fine when you're a free agent, but otherwise you shouldn't have a say in it. If you signed a contract to be on this team for a set amount of time in New Orleans, and I think for me personally, I get that these guys don't like losing. They're on the highest stage of being competitive for organized basketball or any organized sport, but to sit out games because you don't think that your team is good enough to compete is, I don't know, for me that is something that I would want less in a player than want more.
Yeah, I mean, you're contracted to play, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Unless and there's nothing going on within the team per se that's like forcing you to not play or whatever. It's like you're just like, oh, I'm not going to win here, so why try?
Yeah,
And
and
that's a problem.
I feel like these players are like, well, I'm not gonna play because well, if I get hurt, and it's like then I can't go to a contender. It's like if you don't play, they're still not under any obligation to be traded anyway.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
I don't understand why these guys think like that. It's them having all the leverage when they really don't. But the fact, let's get back to it. The main point being, the NBA as any sports league has, as far as I'm aware of, you're not supposed to tamper. Like you get fined for uh, if a team, talks to a player when they're under contract with a certain team. Like even if where is it? You talk to an upcoming free agent before the free agency period starts. That's
right.
considered tampering. And so the Pelicans are saying to the commissioner and to the NBA's league office, enforce the anti-tampering very strictly.
Hmm.
We don't want to like be a part of like a deal where like we don't think that it's right. And so
Yeah.
if I'm the Pelicans, I'm thinking, or if I'm a fan of the Pelicans, I should say, I'm wondering why it is that they're so public with the fact that they don't want to trade Davis unless the package is like overwhelming, as they
Yeah.
if we're recorded. It's like if the guy, it's, I mean, if you don't have that offer, regardless, but at the same time, wait. If you're the Pelicans, just wait till next year to trade him. In my opinion, if you're not like, I get that he has another year left on his deal, but if he's not gonna play, I don't know. The, my thing is just like your package is so much bigger now for the return to get that extra year. I don't understand why they're so committing or so committed to not trading him now. The asset return would probably be so much better now than it would be in the off season or like next year.
Meh, I mean, I don't know. It's more of a say also, like, because if you give in to him now, then, like, you're saying he still has all the power, right?
But if he sits out all the games in the world, it doesn't really matter who has the power if he's not playing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's all, like, a thing, because he's just going to be miserable and not play here, or the team doesn't get what they want back anyway.
Right, exactly. It's weird because they've obviously tried to build contending teams around Anthony Davis in the past. Like a couple of years ago, they went out and they got like, when they got Drew Holiday, they got Julius Randle this offseason. They've tried getting guys who are like, pieces to a playoff team, and it's just every time in the past it hasn't really worked. So it
Right.
makes you think like even with whatever the best package that you could get, if you're trying to build like a team to compete for titles, New Orleans hasn't really proved to be the location where that happens yet either.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like if you're going for such a big package, maybe you don't need star-studded names now. Maybe you want more picks and something to build down the line.
Okay. I can see that.
Because it seems like New Orleans is one of your classic project teams, not so much being able to compete in the now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's just my thoughts.
All right. So, I mean, I agree. It's just like if they're not getting what they want for Davis, then I don't see them trading him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're not going to let him walk as a free agent, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a year and a half away too.
Right. So they can
So
be more
that's
picky right
yeah, they can
now.
be more picky now. And there's teams like Boston who I don't understand the scenario fully, but I think it's like whoever the contracts are, like the first like contract extension on guys who, after their rookie season or like max rookie scale, something like that. You can only have so many guys on those kinds of contracts, so
Right.
they would have to get rid of like someone in order to take on Anthony Davis's contract.
Right.
But Anthony Davis's dad just came out and said like, look, Boston like did Isaiah Thomas badly, and like look how his career kind of sputtered away after that. Well, I don't want my son going to Boston. So, I mean,
It's
if
not his
that's
choice. He's under contract with somebody with a no trade clause. If he goes to Boston, he goes to Boston.
right, but he wouldn't go to Boston now.
Yeah.
He wouldn't go to Boston until like the summer at the early.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see Boston being an option now.
All right. So yeah.
I mean, I just don't think that there's any reason for Boston part ways with the younger assets that they have.
Yeah, definitely.
For the team chemistry to get Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
They haven't needed it.
All right. So yeah, let's just move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about a lot of NBA All Stars.
Yeah, just NBA stuff in general, because we've been slacking and
Right. So the West has their starters out there: Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Paul George, James Harden, and LeBron.
Yeah, so these are the guys who were voted to be the starters. They represent Western Conference teams,
Right.
but the way that the NBA is doing it, they're cherry picking the NHL from like
10 years
ago, where it was like they picked two captains. They're going to do a player draft. They did it last year, but they didn't televise it last year, so no one really knew. So there's going to be Team LeBron and Team Giannis Antetokounmpo. They're both going to it's going to be like fantasy football, but like in real life. So the player draft happens on February 7th, which is ironically, or I guess not ironically, the day that the NBA trade deadline is. So,
right.
Although I guess like it doesn't really matter the trade deadline if these guys are all stars and they get traded. Doesn't matter in this context, because of the player draft. So yeah, you got two Warriors. You got LeBron because why not?
Basically.
James Harden. Yeah, it's like common sense names.
Yeah. All right. So who are on the East, right? Actually, no.
On to the East.
We have the West reserves first.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna go through those. The West reserves are
Anthony Davis, Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard, Karl Anthony Towns, Russell Westbrook, LaMarcus Aldridge, Klay Thompson, and Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, so I mean, it's your classic names that
and then,
if you watch basketball, except for Jokic, I guess you could say Towns because Towns is still young, but everybody else is like every guy that has made All-Star team over the past 5 years. So
yeah,
nothing really changes. Jokic, I feel like Denver probably could have had more representatives, just one, given that they're a surprise contender in the West. So I don't know if like Anthony Davis decides like he's sitting out of this game too. I could see another Nuggets player getting named. I don't really know who.
Okay.
But
yeah,
I mean they've played everybody contributes kind of game, but Jokic has been getting a lot of triple doubles for a 7-footer. So
that's good. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, now into the East.
Yes.
So this one is Antetokounmpo, Embiid, Irving, Leonard, and Walker.
Yeah. So the big one on here about the East is when LeBron leaves, clearly the difference between East and West in the starters, you can see it. Like, no knock against Kemba Walker because he's having a sensational year for the Hornets. But Kemba Walker is not a starter in Eastern Conference where LeBron James is in.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard, I mean, yeah. I mean, you shuffle the deck, but Kawhi Leonard would probably still be in the starting five.
Mm-hmm.
If you were going like they went, the NBA goes with front court, back court now instead of positional. Um, so like if it was point guard, shooting guard, small forward,
Mm-hmm.
power forward, center, then like Kawhi probably gets the shooting guard, Kyrie point guard, Embiid center, Giannis power forward, and like a LeBron and small forward, and that bumps Kemba out. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, other than that, is like Giannis is having a really good year. Embiid has stayed healthy pretty much throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
Kawhi Leonard, I mean, resurgent, although I guess that doesn't really mean anything because he chose not to play last year with San Antonio. Kyrie, it's weird because like there's a lot of rumors and distractions surrounded with his name.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if he wants to be traded, if he wants people to be traded to Boston. He said that he doesn't owe anybody anything in terms of re-signing this summer with Boston. There's a lot of weird stuff going around with him, but he's an all-star nonetheless. So yeah,
Right.
we'll see how that goes.
All right. So then they have their reserves.
Yeah, so the reserves, it's like one player longer just because Oladipo, who got hurt, really bad injury about a week or so ago, he was going to be a reserve, but instead the injury replacement we found out it was going to be D'Angelo Russell of the Nets.
Right.
Which, I mean, kudos to them. They deserved someone representing them for the season that they've had so far and just kind of being the surprise team. You got Blake Griffin. The Pistons kind of like really suck, but Blake Griffin is having a monster year on that team.
Right.
You got Vucevic, who's having his best year for the Magic. Bradley Beal, honestly, I don't understand. I mean, he must be having a good year, but the Wizards really don't deserve to have someone representing them
Hey.
because they've been like a dramatic dumpster fire, kind of like a basketball Steelers.
And this All-Star thing is not like every team has to have a representative. It's
right,
literally
right. It's not like baseball where it's like every team gets one.
Or hockey, if every team gets a representative also.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got Ben Simmons, no jump shot, doesn't matter, still made an All-Star team. Kyle Lowry, I mean, just consistent with the times, really.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Middleton, I guess second best player on a team that's in second place in the East, so can't really blame him. And then Dwayne Wade rounds out the roster. And then we found out yesterday that Dwayne Wade and Dirk Nowitzki are kind of special additions to the All-Star
They basically were just thrown in there.
Yeah, because they both kind of like came out and said, well, this is our last, my last year. And this is kind of like their send-off kind of thing. It's like,
And
I'm not really sure why
I don't think it's needed.
Send-off. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it doesn't exactly cement their legacy that they made.
Exactly.
Like Dirk Nowitzki's in his 40s.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, at this point, he's been an all-star so many times. Like, one more doesn't really change his legacy any. Like, I'm curious to find out how many all-star games or how many times Dirk Nowitzki has been an all-star that this would, like, make any difference. So I'm going to look this up really quick. Let's see. Dirk Nowitzki, Wikipedia, because that's the most accurate source of information ever. So he's a 14-time NBA All-Star.
Yeah, okay, he doesn't need this one.
Yeah, and that includes this one, is 14 times.
Okay.
I guess 13 was unlucky for him. I'm not really sure. I mean, he's not even playing most games this year, or if the games he's playing in, he's not playing a lot of minutes.
Right. So, like, I don't think he deserves.
Yeah. Dwayne Wade, 13-time All-Star. He would have been 12-time without, like, this nod.
All right, whatever.
It's something, like, I'm not opposed to the idea of honoring guys, but it's like, for me, you guys came out with the whole roster and then added these guys, while at the same time snubbing other guys who are more worthy.
Right. I don't see why you do it.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous.
Because it's not like people tune into the All-Star game a lot anyway. So like,
Right. Look, not to take anything away from like a Tim Duncan or a Nowitzki, but those kinds of players are not the reason why you tune into the All Star game. The All Star game is about the flashy passes, the big time dunks that you don't get in the game. It's about high scoring, no defense. A guy like a Tim Duncan or a Dirk Nowitzki brought a very specific skill set to the All Star game that got them into the All Star game every year. But once you were there, they were kind of the odd name out.
yep,
Dwayne Wade, yeah, he brought more of the firepower and the excitement, but at this point in Dwayne Wade's career, I'm not even sure that I've really heard much of him this season.
yep.
So, I don't know.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the format, right? So there's the captains choose the squad of 10 players. It is.
No, they're just going to choose from the pool, but I don't want to spend too much time on this. So you and me, we're going to do our, like pick your ideal 10.
Sure.
So,
I mean, so basically, we're either LeBron or Adekempo, right? Because those are the captains, right? So
yeah.
they have to be separate.
Yes. So that's the rule here is there's like no rules, but the only one is that well, there's two rules. You gotta choose 5 backcourt,
Yeah.
5 front court.
Uh-huh.
And if you're gonna choose LeBron, you cannot choose Giannis. If you're gonna choose Giannis, you can't choose LeBron.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so I'll let you go first.
Well, I'll just take LeBron as the top. Right. So, because I think, I don't know, I just think that like, even though he's been injured for a lot, that's the other thing. Like, not necessarily know why he's in there, but he's been injured for a lot. But I'll just take him because why not?
Okay. I mean, he's in there because it's LeBron, and there's no way he wouldn't be. It's like Crosby, but like being named to the All-Star game every year, even when he.
Exactly, but also like LeBron in there makes more sense than like a Wade or Nowitzki at basically any time, because he's more the flashy shooter, passer kind of guy.
Exactly. All right, well, I'm going to take Giannis then, just to be different. I think that you got the young guy with just way more energy. The fact that he plays pretty much any position at like 6'11", has the ability to sky, throw down dunks from near a free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
Been in a dunk contest, has kind of completed his game to have outside shooting. I think I'll take the young guy then.
Okay. So then basically, I probably will take Steph Curry.
All right. And I'll respond by taking. Ooh, this is tough. Let's see. Yeah, I'll take Harden.
Okay. Then, so I gotta respond by taking. I think I'll take Leonard.
Okay. So that leaves you. You have 2 forwards and a guard.
Yeah.
I'll take Kyrie. So I have 2 guards and a forward.
And then I'll take Embiid.
Okay.
So he's my center.
Okay, so that's 3 and 1 for you. I'll take Karl Anthony Towns. Should match your Embiid skill set pretty nicely.
Mm-hmm. Then I'll probably take. I'll probably take Jokic.
Okay. All right. I'll take. Has anyone said Durant yet?
Nope.
All right, I'll take Durant. Durant on the bench. I mean,
I'll probably just take Griffin here
Okay.
because he's just been too good to like leave.
And speaking of that same too good to leave, I'll take Kemba. So I
Yeah.
got 3 and 3 right now.
Okay, and what do I have? 3 and 3 also, right? 4 and 2. Because I
Yeah.
have Embiid, Leonard, Curry, and James, right?
Yeah, and Jokic.
Jokic and Griffin. Huh?
Yeah, you have a lot of forwards. You need some guards.
Right. But this is the All-Star game. Who cares?
All right. Yeah.
Right? As long as you have a center, who cares?
Trust me, you definitely got centers.
I'll probably take Russell, just because I think he's pretty good.
All right. And I'll take the other Russell. I'll take the Nets.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, that leaves me with 4 and 3, I think.
Mm-hmm. So that means... Wait, so who's left in the starters?
Let's see. Who's left is going to be Paul George. I think that's it. Paul George is the only one starting
And
left.
who has... I have to take the last starter then? If George is the only left, or do you?
I mean, you're up now.
No, but we each have to have 5.
Yeah, I mean...
And there are 10 starters, so somebody didn't choose one.
Oh, no, I thought we were doing our own teams.
Oh. Alright, I mean, yeah, that works too, because then I don't really... I don't know. I'll take Simon.
Okay. And I'll take Vucevic. So that's my 5 in the front court.
Okay.
All right, so you got one more left.
Did you take Aldridge?
No.
I'll take him.
All right, and I will take, with my last pick, I'll take Paul George.
Okay. Why not?
Woo! That was tough.
Yeah.
Tougher than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, no, because like when choosing for like an all-star game, it's not like I want every position. It's just that I want like, I don't know, flashy and scoring.
You chose like 7 forwards with your first like 9 picks.
Yeah, who cares?
Like, you want flashy passes and stuff. Maybe you go with like a guard every now and then. Your team is going to get whooped by my team.
Okay. Yeah, it'll at least be fun to watch them suffer.
Is it ever fun to watch anyone suffer though?
I don't
know. We are an anti-Philly podcast, so that I guess I'm wrong.
All right. Anyway, moving on. So
that's done.
There's the Rising Stars, right? So
yeah. So let me just preface this and say that these rosters for the Rising Stars, I believe, are set. Some of the other All-Star Weekend Challenge contests, stuff like that, not all the rosters are set, and whatever has been publicized has been reported through like sources on Twitter, like Wojnarowski of ESPN, stuff like that. So,
right.
I mean, there's chances that people are going to back out. There's chances that, some of the rosters are going to be added to. But let's get into it. So they do the U.S. versus the world setup. And so we have Jarrett Allen from the Brooklyn Nets, Marvin Bagley, who was, I believe, one of the top 5 picks in the draft for the Kings, Lonzo Ball of the Lakers. He's probably going to get replaced because I think he's hurt. John Collins of the Hawks. De'Aaron Fox of the Kings, Jaren Jackson of the Grizzlies, Kyle Kuzma of the Lakers, Donovan Mitchell of the Jazz, Jason Tatum of the Celtics, and Trae Young, again, of the Hawks. What surprises me here is if you look at how the Hawks have two players on a team that has absolutely no motivation to be good at all.
Yeah.
Uh, the Kings have two representatives, but the Kings have actually been kind of sneaky okay this year, which is a step up for them. And the Lakers have two representatives.
But one's going to get replaced, I think. I agree with you.
Because I think Ball's out for a couple weeks. So
right.
I don't think they're going to let him play in that. Just let him rehab.
Right. So then there's also the world.
Yeah. So it's us against the world, as it always is. Let's see. So for the world team, we have OG Anunboy. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Representing the Raptors, DeAndre Ayton of the Suns, Bogdan Bogdanovic of the Kings.
Bogdanovic is of the Lakers, right?
No.
No?
First of all, there's two Bogdanoviches. There's Boyan and Bogdan. They're not related. One of them, I believe, is on the Pacers, and one is on the Kings.
Then your graphic says the Lakers.
I was up till 2 in the morning.
Yeah, whatever. Yes, we're wrong. We get it.
Yeah, and Shaan believed me, so take that for whatever it's worth. Luka Doncic of the Mavericks. I'm not even going to try this. I mean, I guess I'll try this. Gilgeous Alexander of the Clippers. Rujans Kurucs of the Nets. Lauri Markkanen of the Bulls. Josh Okogie of the Timberwolves. Seti Osman of the Cavs. And Ben Simmons of the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see Ayton and Doncic court. I think at this point, Ayton was the number one pick in the draft, but I think Doncic has been by far the better one.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm the Suns, I'm kicking myself for not having drafted Doncic, but I guess they picked the guy from University of Arizona, so they must have had plenty of time to scout him and see something in him that justified it. And also, I just realized that this Bogdanovic picture is also Lonzo Ball. So that hands up, that's my bad.
Yeah, whatever. All right. Anyway,
I was having some PowerPoint.
So yeah, moving on.
Yeah. Hopefully, the less mistakes.
Okay, yeah. So then there's the dunk contest. So the three we know of so far are Dennis Smith Jr., DeAndre Ayton, and Hamidou Diallo. I can't pronounce.
Did I mess that slide too?
Maybe.
Okay, no, it's not DeAndre Ayton. It's Miles Bridges.
Oh, okay.
Oh, dear God.
Hey, a lot of mistakes. Yay.
Yeah. Or an amateur podcast for sure. Wow. PowerPoint screwed me last night. Yeah. So Dennis Smith Jr. Of the newly acquired variation now on the Knicks. So whatever homages he may have had, for Dallas or the Mavericks or whatever, good news. You now have a short time to change that up to New York. Miles Bridges, bench player for the Hornets. We'll see what he can do. And Diallo of OKC, as he said, that was reported by Chris Haynes of Yahoo, as well as the Bridges being a part of it.
Right. So then let's move to skills contest, I think, the next one. Or is it the 3-point contest? So this one has, Seth Curry, Steph Curry, Dirk Nowitzki, Buddy Hot, and then Damian Lillard. And then one to be determined.
Yeah, so the one here is we don't know. Devin Booker, Suns won it last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's still unsure of if he wants back in. So you'd have to assume that spot is his.
Unless he doesn't want it.
Yeah, exactly. Should he? It's his to lose, I would have to say, because it's always the defending champion gets a shot to repeat. Then you got the interesting one, which is the two Curry brothers not neck and neck, but against each other.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. One Curry brother has been on one team his whole career. The other one went like undrafted and has been on like 4 teams. So not to say that Seth Curry's a bad player, but we'll see like who is going to win that one. You'd have to think Steph just based off of the reputation.
Right.
And I think they're two different kind of players. I don't think that Seth Curry is quite the move around shooter that Steph Curry is. But in a 3-point contest, that doesn't really matter. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. All right. So then now skills contest. We have a lot of to be determined here. So the only 3 we know so far are Luka Doncic, Trae Young, and DeAndre Fox.
Yeah. Or De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
That's my
So normally, I looked back on previous years. This is normally a contest that has 8 contestants in it. And they do like half bigs, half guards, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, Spencer Dinwiddie of the Nets won it. No idea if you get a shot to defend your crown in this challenge. I haven't really, it's not something that you really pay attention to when it comes to All-Star Saturday night.
Right.
But De'Aaron Fox getting a lot of love in some of these. He's in the Rising Stars Challenge, I'm pretty sure, which is the U.S. versus World.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be. Wasn't he in another contest that we looked at? Or never mind.
No, he's in U.S. vs. World, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking of somebody else. Yeah, the Kings are getting a lot of love. That must be
definitely.
Buddy Hield, they got a bunch of guys in the Rising Stars. Bogdanovich, and then you got De'Aaron Fox here. So it'll be an interesting night. Lots of opportunity, and Luka Doncic probably is going to. I mean, he's just had an incredible year. I have a hard time believing that he's not going to win at least one event that he's in.
Right.
He got snubbed from the All-Star team, which, I mean, a rookie to make the All-Star team, it's hard to do. It doesn't really happen, but he's just had a sensational year.
Yeah. All right. So, now we want to talk about some trades and trade deadlines approaching, right? So, I think we'll hit NHL first just to get the trade out of the way, and then we'll talk about the NBA trade deadline that's coming up on the 7th.
Yep.
So, the NHL trade that just happened is a trade that the Penguins were involved in.
Yep.
So we have a resident Penguins expert here.
Yep, resident.
So the Penguins received Nick Bjugstad and Jared McCann, but they gave up Derek Brassard, Riley Sheehan, a 2nd-round pick in 2019, a 4th-round pick in 2019, and a second 4th-round pick in 2019, which they received from Minnesota previously.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I'm okay with this trade. I'm not, in love with it. Look, Shane was playing pretty well for us, but he was on a 1-year deal. So I get why he was traded. I didn't think that he really needed to be traded. I guess the Panthers probably wanted that additional player more than the Penguins wanted to get rid of it. But they just called up Teddy Bluger, who's probably going to be the new 4th-line guy anyway. So it's not the worst thing. Gave up a big haul for 2 guys that combined don't have a lot of points this year. I don't think either one of them has over 18 points total.
Yeah, so, but okay. The thing that stood out to me is wait, you guys actually had draft picks to trade away still?
I mean, normally it's the 1st-round picks that we trade away. So the fact that we didn't trade away one of those,
I think you only have a couple, a 1st round, and then 1 or 2 other picks in the next draft at this point.
I couldn't tell you.
So when I saw that, I was like, wait, they have more than a couple of picks to trade away?
I mean, like I said, I couldn't tell you, mostly because as you just alluded to, we trade away our picks so frequently that it's paying attention to the draft just rarely happens these days. And I would love to see them have draft picks so that when Crosby and Malkin are gone, they didn't bury themselves. But
Right.
this is what it is, I guess.
And
At
to
least
be
for a
fair,
couple more
I
years.
think like you're taking in Bugstad and McCann because I don't think Broussard was doing much for you anyway.
Nope.
Bugstad
Not a
is like
chance.
your new Broussard, and McCann's just there, in my opinion.
They're both going to be on the big roster, so I guess that's one of the appeals to it is you get two players that can play now, and they did play on the day that they were traded.
Right, they got
Um,
there like a couple of minutes before the game, though, and they.
yeah.
Yep.
So, like I said, we'll see how it goes, but I don't know. This one is kind of like you have to trust the GM kind of move
Right.
because it's like you don't really on paper see why it happened. Like, yeah, Broussard was having a down year, and that kind of probably hurt some of the value of it. So that's why they had to, sweeten some of the deals with other picks. But at the same time, they didn't exactly go out and get top performers either. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So let's get into the NBA trade deadline.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
No
we had the
graphic for
one
this one,
deal.
but we're just gonna be talking NBA trade deadline.
I created enough graphics last night.
For the NBA trade deadline, I don't see it.
So no, I didn't create one for the trade deadline. It just said I created enough graphics.
Yeah.
All right, so I mean, we came with the last episode on the big one, which was the Porzingis one. Nothing really since then has happened. We're more here to talk about what could happen. Um, so we talked about the no tampering thing.
Right.
And the good news is there's still plenty of good names that are going to be up for grabs potentially before the trade deadline, including Ennis Cantor, because the Knicks aren't really playing him, and he's made it pretty vocal. It's like, play me or, I want out.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Love of the Cavs, because, well, I mean,
Yeah.
what is the Cavs really building towards here? And maybe even like Tristan Thompson would probably be a name. Marc Gasol and Mike Conley of the Grizzlies, because I mean they started the year really well, and then they just fell apart. And then Jabari Parker of the Bulls. I mean, he was on the Bucks, and then the Bucks got rid of him, and the Bulls signed him for like a 2-year deal, and then the Bulls are just absolute garbage. So
Right.
like,
So I mean,
no
yeah, and
point in keeping a guy for $40 million on a 2-year deal.
yeah. I mean, my opinion is like some of these like there's no way they're just gonna take them flat. There's gonna be like salary retainment and all that crap that has to be worked
Yeah,
out.
exactly. But and it depends on who the contract too.
Mm-hmm.
How many years left certain guys have? Like I think Kevin Love probably has a few years left on his deal.
I think so.
Because like when LeBron was there, everybody was just getting 5-year deals.
Yep.
So salary retainment will probably be a factor there because obviously other teams that are trying to buy talent at the deadline, their salary cap is probably pretty close to full. So we'll see. This
Right.
is an area where, like we said in the last show, if you're like a team like Brooklyn, I think that you don't buy too much because you want to contend and you want to be in the playoff picture, but you don't want to ruin the future
Right.
because that's
But
what the main thing
also,
is.
the main buyer for talent at the trade deadline are the people who are like number three in their conference right now, looking to get to one.
Mhm.
If you're the Brooklyn Nets, you're 6, right? There's no way you're gonna ruin the future for now at 6.
Right. And I think at this point in time, if you're the Nets, you've kind of impressed and surpassed the season expectations anyway.
Right.
So it's like, even if you fall out of the playoff picture, it wasn't a bad year for you guys.
Yeah, even if you just end the year one game over 500, you basically surpassed all your expectations.
Exactly. Yeah. Other teams, like, I'm sure we're going to see the Lakers, the Lakers probably are going to be involved in a couple of deals. maybe an Anthony Davis, maybe not. I don't see Kevin Love coming to the Lakers. I'll say that. And obviously, with whatever deals that the Lakers make, is the speculation of is it going to be like Lonzo or Brandon Ingram or any of these guys that they drafted high in the first round in the past 4 or 5 years? Are they going to be gone?
Right.
It doesn't really matter, I guess. I mean, like Lonzo, he's okay, but it's not like he was contributing to must protect and not move him standard anymore.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
The first year and a half, he hasn't really exceeded any expectations. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't see how they're really the biggest assets. I think you've had somewhat of a sample size big enough to kind of like see what the value is. But only time will tell, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, and also the deadline is literally, 4 days from now?
Yeah.
So,
I'm amazed that other trades haven't happened while in like the 3 days since we last recorded.
right. So, I mean, I would just keep your ears peeled because something big might happen.
Yeah. It's weird because when you look on paper at like what the bigger names that should be available, there's not a lot of them. There's a handful, but that doesn't really mean anything. There's been trade deadlines where big names got moved in the past.
Yeah, but also, like, you have teams that we all expect to be doing really well, like the Lakers, who are, like, pretty underwhelming at this point, whether it's due to injuries or whatnot.
Mhm.
You're probably looking at them making some type of move. Because
Yeah.
they're a team that needs to win now more than later, because they have LeBron.
Yeah, exactly. And for whoever I guess wants to take a chance on Carmelo Anthony, he did get waived by the Bulls and he's out there. I just don't know that it's going to happen.
No.
I mean, unless it's like the Lakers because it's like LeBron's buddy. But
Come on, he
I
wants
just
to
don't see that.
win, not babysit Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they wanted to win, I'm not exactly sure why they took like a 38-year-old Tyson Chandler either. But some teams just come calling. So
All right. Well, yeah.
it'll
So
be interesting to see.
yeah, and so we'll be on a bit of an extended break until mid next week, right?
Yeah, just some prior obligations, academic-wise, grad school stuff.
Right. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in a little over a week for the next one.
And the next one may be one of our wheel ideas that we had from
Last episode.
Yeah. So we're also taking this absence to kind of work through the Kingston technology and how we're going to approach that too. But it should be a lot of fun when we get to it.
Right.
So just
Yep.
keep an eye out for that.
All right. See you.
All right. See you.